Do you enjoy going to Moulin Rouge as much as we do? Better yet, do you like going to concerts and sporting events?
SeatGeek helps people easily purchase tickets to these kind of events and unites people like you and us through live entertainment.
And things just got easier for you. As proud partners of SeatGeek, you can use our exclusive promo code CANCAN10 and you'll get $10 off of any purchase that is $250 or over.
Hey Lily, you've been eyeing up that can seat for a while now.
You're so right, Jules. I think I'm gonna go purchase it right now and use our code for a discount. Do you want to join?
Hell yeah.
Again, that's CANCAN10 to get $10 off of any purchase that is $250 or over. Only valid for your first purchase. Hey guys, it's your girl Lily here, one half of CanCan Talks, and I am here to tell you about our Patreon page. You don't know what Patreon is? Well, it's a platform to interact more with you guys. We post a lot of content on Instagram, but it does limit what we can post. For example, video length. Patreon allows us to post full-length videos of our episodes, as well as other cool things as a way to get to know us. You can sign up for a free subscription, you heard me, free, and you can view the full-length video recordings for a portion of our episodes. You can also join us for just $2 a month, and you'll have access to every full-length video recording, including the episodes with our special guests. We'll also be posting other fun content such as polls, exclusive updates on our upcoming guests, and so much more. Who knows? Maybe we'll live stream and let you guys see how we record an episode. Honestly, as a visual learner myself, I would love to have access to the video recordings of some of my favorite podcasts. So if you're like me, don't wait to sign up. Check us out at www.patreon.com/CanCanTalksPod and sign up for your free or $2 a month membership now. Again, that's www.patreon.com/CanCanTalksPod, linked in our episode description. Hello, hello, hello. We are back with another episode of Can Talks. It's your girl Lily and your girl Jules. And we're gonna have another deep dive. It's gonna be the Santiago deep dive. We call him Santi though, because cute little nickname. But before we get into the deep
Lily's
dive,
the only person who calls him Santi, by the way, in this friendship. I
because
just
I
want
have
everyone to
a
know that.
friend named Santiago and we call him Santi. So anyways, before we get into the deep dive, we have some very exciting announcements. So Jules, take it away.
So I'm gonna start off with the announcement. So currently right now, Jay is currently out. He is out sick. He had surgery, so he is currently out sick. We're hoping he has a speedy recovery. But in the meantime, Andres from the first national tour, he was the original baby doll on the tour, is currently playing baby doll on Broadway until August 4th. So you have time to catch him, and hopefully Jay will be back by August 4th. But like I said, we are wishing him a very speedy recovery. Patrick Clayton recently announced the other day that he will be moving into the role of Zidler and Lautrec Standby. So his last show performing in the ensemble will be July 21st. Speaking of July 21st, Clay is leaving July 21st. Derek Clunner is leaving July 21st, and Courtney Reed is leaving July 21st. So it is going to be a mass exodus. And I have my tickets, and I am not ready to cry. So I'm going to bring a box of tissues with me. However, starting on July 23rd, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen this, boy, do we have some news for
Oh
you.
man.
Boy, we got some. Starting July 23rd, for 12 weeks only, Aaron Tveit and JoJo are returning to the Al Hirschfeld. 12 weeks only. They are leaving on October 13th. So it's sorry, it's not Columbus Day anymore. It's Indigenous People Day weekend. Sorry about that. So yeah, look at that. Two icons are back.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm ready. I have my tickets for the 5-year anniversary. Was the 25th of July, everybody. My tickets are secured. It's also the day of Broadway in Bryant Park. And then I also have my tickets secured for the 27th. So I'm ready. I'm I'm back. I'm gonna go in September because I'm seeing Sunset Boulevard first preview, but that day is one of the dates that Aaron is out. And I'm like, no,
Ah,
I
dang
want Miss
it.
Aaron to be, but JoJo. So,
Yeah.
you win some, you win some, you dim some, but it's okay. We love our inner studies as well. So,
Aaron C.
yeah,
Finley.
Aaron C. Finley,
Maybe
and
you'll get Dylan Christian.
maybe I'll get done with
Maybe.
Christian and I can finally tick off all the Christians.
Yeah, Christian bingo.
I'm waiting for Christian Bingo, so please, someone help me. But yeah, that's our big announcements. It's a big one. If you didn't see it, then clearly you're living under a rock.
Because it was all over Twitter.
It was
It was
everywhere.
everywhere. TikTok, Twitter,
Instagram,
Instagram. It was everywhere.
everywhere. Facebook, I saw it on
Oh
Facebook running
yeah, me
around. I was
too.
like, they
Yeah.
get everywhere. And we're ready. And tickets booked. We're ready to go.
I'm going on the 28th of July.
Yeah, Lily hates me, so she's not going on the 27th like
Ugh.
I am because
See, I'm seeing Outsiders again, so
she hates me. And it's okay. Do you know what? It's fine. It's whatever, It's
no, I
fine.
love you.
I dealt with it. Um, I'm sad because you're missing JoJo on the 28th.
I know. Ugh.
That's why you should come on the
But I will be
27th.
seeing Haley and Aaron's first show, so together.
That will be really fun
So I'm excited for
because
that.
Haley's great.
Haley is
Haley is
amazing.
phenomenal. And I'm excited to see. I mean, JoJo and Aaron are phenomenal. You know what makes me think is like, that July 1st
July
last year,
1st.
the Moulin Rouge producers saw them together and were like, do you know what? This slaps,
Yeah.
let them cook. Like, this
Don't do
slaps.
it. Yeah.
And they were like, bring them back. And we are happy to have them back.
There's like a
So,
TikTok from when because Aaron Tveit right now is at doing a run at the
Cafe Carla.
yeah Cafe Carlisle. He's doing a little what do they call them?
Like
Residency,
not kind of like a
residency, kind
residency, but
of,
it's
but
only
like
like 3 weeks.
yeah. But he's doing a little gig at the Cafe Carlisle, and there's a video on TikTok that kind of surfaced, and it was like I somehow always find myself in 19th century France, and I will be, and he like announced it in that way, and then he said something about like how it was like 5:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, and he got the call, and the
They're like,
manager
where
was
are
just like,
you?
"Where are you? At home?
Can
Can
you
you
come
come
to
to
the
the theater?"
theater? Love that. But yeah, so super excited. A lot of people are really excited about him being back, and myself included, because
Yeah,
it's been a while since I saw him as Christian. I say that
me
it's been
too.
since like last year. I
Oh,
saw him as Christian like
it's been
last
since
March.
2019 for me, so it's
Oh,
been a
wow.
good five
Okay.
years. So
So you see, I've only I mean, I saw him in
5 years
Sweeney.
had passed.
5 years have passed. I mean, I saw him in Sweeney like 2 months ago. 2 months passed. But like still, I'm just like, oh, I loved him in Sweeney, but I'm like, I'm ready to see him
Like
back as
Christian,
Christian.
yeah, it's just it feels like
And
home.
JoJo,
And
JoJo is
JoJo,
is I don't know about you guys, but like I've always been such a fan of JoJo ever since I was little. She
yeah,
announced that it was like her 20th anniversary of her debut
yeah.
album. I was
Oh
like,
my
I can't believe
God,
that's 20 years old.
I know.
I remember listening to that album when I was a kid. JoJo was my life growing up. So
Oh my God, yeah.
Aquamarine, oh my God, that's one
Yo.
of my favorite movies still. Girl should have won an Oscar for that. Anyway, I can sit here and talk about my love for this cast all freaking day,
It's gonna be
but
so fun, guys.
oh, also, Moulin Rouge Japan had their opening night the other night.
Hmm.
That one too. Um, so that was really exciting for them. Love that. So, anyway, before I start talking this whole episode about this random stuff, let's get into today's episode.
So we are deep diving into Santiago. Very fun character in both the movie and the Broadway show. We know a little bit more about him in the Broadway show. We had a very hard time finding information about him in the movie. So, and it's been a while since both of us have seen the movie, so we'll try our best. But we should go into the background a little bit.
Yeah. So, who is Santiago? So, according to the Moulin Rouge Broadway script, Santiago is a comically dashing figure. He's the greatest tango dancer in all of Paris and the greatest gigolo. A ferocious Argentinian swashbuckler, he lives for the extravagant torments of love, but he's a fine man to have as a friend, faithful and true. Also, if you really wanted to get deep into it, I can tell you his full name. Here we go. Wait, I gotta find it. There's
Toulouse says it.
so many pages to the script. Okay. Oh my goodness.
I just like when Toulouse says, as you can clearly see, is Argentinian.
Here we go.
So funny.
Santiago Diego Romero Ruiz, who, as you can clearly see, is Argentinian. He's the greatest tango dancer in all of Paris, which, needless to say, means he's the greatest gigolo.
And then
Um,
Gabe's thigh slap.
yeah, Gabe used to do the thigh slap. I cannot do that right now. I'm really sunburnt, so no thigh slap for me. But yes, so that is Santiago, his full name, and who he is described on. Finding stuff about him in the movie, the only thing we could find was that he is a drunk and he has, what was it again?
Narcolepsy.
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 He's unconscious all the time. Christian in the movie, Hugh McGregor, says that he is the unconscious Argentinian. Is his
And he does
nickname.
not have a name. Like you
He's
don't
not,
actually know his name in the
no.
movie.
Like I was looking on IMDb and they have bits of the script and it just says Argentinian. It doesn't say his name. It just says
Yeah.
like his character is Argentinian. So we're glad he got a name. Um, but yeah, so that's all we know about him, like from the script. But we do know, sorry, excuse me. So he's probably born Argentina and
Yeah.
somehow got to Paris
Yeah.
one way or
Probably
another.
dancing.
Probably dancing.
Dancing.
He probably got there by boat because we did not have airplanes back
No.
in those times. Well,
And
not as
so,
good as it
well,
is now.
yeah.
Um, no, I don't know. You have to fact check me on that. I don't know when the Wright brothers did the whole airplane stuff. Um, so basically he got himself to Paris from Argentina. Argentina, oh my goodness, Argentina. Um, so from Argentina to Paris, he got himself there and he liked to tango dance. And then we also found out he was a gigolo. What is crazy to me, because it's not crazy to me, I don't know why I'm saying that, but it's the fact that it kind of proves our point that the Moulin Rouge is not just a nightclub. It seems like it's also kind of like, I wouldn't want to say it's a brothel, but like it kind
But
of
yeah.
is, but it's kind of not. Like what happens outside of the Moulin Rouge is probably more brothely than what actually happens inside of Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
So, we have Satine, we have theories about other people, and then
It's a
Santiago comes
gentleman's
along.
club. It's a gentleman's
Gentleman's
club.
Club. And Santiago comes along and he's a gigolo, so like it's kind of like, oh, well, it's something about Paris that makes people into this type of stuff. So,
Well, it's not just it's the time. It's also the place Montmartre, where all the artists are, the artistes, and that's kind of probably how he and Toulouse met. Um,
I'll be finding a way to survive as well during
yeah,
this time.
yeah. Toulouse is kind of the brains of a show, and then Santi can I call him Santi. But
Choreographer.
he's the choreographer, so he brings the creative side to the show as well. And then you need the songwriter, and in comes Christian.
Well, that's the thing. So they're from what I believe, um, at the beginning of the show, before Truth, Beauty, Freedom, and Love, they want to put together a show. Toulouse and Santiago are wanting to put together a show. And you see them trying to write lyrics and
Yeah.
the hills are
It's
alive, the condor freaking over the Andes, stuff like that. So like they're trying to put together a show and obviously they're not songwriters.
yeah.
And just lo and behold, this random guy
That's
named
right. Yeah.
Christian is just walking in Montmartre
And
and
he
they find him
overhears these
and he
guys.
overhears them and he's like, well, I'm a songwriter. So from what it seems that they are trying to put together a show, and in the movie they're doing something like that, and that's when
Yeah.
they sing "The Hills Are Alive." The hills are
Hmm.
alive. So they're trying to put together a show.
I
I wonder, do you think Santiago and Toulouse live together at 37 Rue Orfeo? Do you think they
don't
live?
know. I don't
Because
know.
Christian moves in. Do you
Right.
think Santiago lives there too?
I feel it's gonna sound so bad, but so when I was a sophomore in college, my apartment mate would always live with her boyfriend. she would like sleep over at her boyfriend's house, but like come and like take a shower at our apartment and take care of our dwarf hamster that we had. Because she drunkenly bought it. That's another story for another time. It's great. But basically she would like come in, tell her life story, take a shower, and then go and spend the night with her boyfriend. So in some ways, I think maybe Santiago is kind of like that. If he's a gigolo, he might be, you know, on the streets, sleeping around maybe. I don't know if he actually had like I think like maybe Toulouse invited him in, possibly. Like this is always your home kind of a thing. So whenever,
True.
yeah.
But also in Crazy Rolling, when
Mm,
Zidla asks where the devil is Christian, he's like, I don't know, he hasn't been home all night.
that's
So
true.
maybe
Maybe,
Toulouse brought him in to help with the rent or something, like our
yeah.
time. So maybe they all three of them live together. They're
Yeah.
just roommates. And they were roommates.
Big frat
Um,
party going on.
yeah,
And
it's
you
like
got
a
the
frat.
absinthe.
Yeah, so I think they all probably did
Yeah.
live together, maybe. And they're all good friends, clearly. So Toulouse and Santiago are wanting to write. They want to have a thing, and they get Christian involved. So Christian's a songwriter.
If you didn't know that, he's a
If you didn't
singer,
know that,
songwriter,
folk
folk
sound
sound.
until we hear Backstage Romance. I'm like, interesting. Toulouse is more of like the writing of the script,
hmm
and then Santiago is a choreographer.
Yeah.
So they're a perfect pair.
Yeah.
Perfect
It's
pair,
just
perfect free
perfect trio of
trio. That's the word I was looking for.
the
But
perfect
yeah, so
trio
it
of
seems like
creators.
they're like a trio together.
It's like the Lin-Manuel Miranda, Alex Lacamoire, and Andy Blankenbuehler.
Exactly.
Today's time.
So yeah, I think they are like they're a good trio together. Um, I'm trying to think more about it's hard. Do I think Santiago, yeah, so like I said, he brings that the whole tango dancing. We see that in
hmm
El Tango de Roxanne. Because
Yeah.
again, we mentioned this in the last episode. In the Nini deep dive, Santiago sings Roxanne in the movie compared to the Broadway show where it's Christian singing it.
hmm
I mean, Christian sings it as well in the movie, but like Santiago like starts it.
Yeah.
So and then Santiago meets Nini, and they no idea what goes on there. Again, like I
Yeah.
said in the last episode, do I think they grow old together, have babies, and all this? No, I think
No.
it's kind of an
On
on
a
and off.
yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of that vibe. And I said in our last deep dive with Nini that I think like Nini challenges Santiago a little bit.
Mm.
And I think Santiago likes that chase. And I think that's
She's
why he
quite
kind of
fiery.
goes after her a little bit. It's like he's probably because he's a gigolo, so he's probably used to the girls kind of, falling for him and, going
Hmm.
after him. And, he's finally going after a girl and she's very fiery, very sassy. And I think
And he likes it.
Santiago likes that. He
He
likes the
likes that.
chase, he likes the challenge.
But you can see that like he likes that kind of like the sassiness of her and
She's like
wants
playing
to kind of
hard to
go out,
get a
play
little
hard to
bit.
get,
Yeah.
and he wants like to take her out and stuff. And you see that. And then
I love you. Who doesn't? Pig.
yeah, I think that's definitely there's something there. It's kind of hard. So moving on at the end, when Satine goes to the big cloud in the sky. Bold of them to assume that Satine goes to heaven. At the end, they all look up at the sky. I'm like, bold of you to assume she goes to heaven. I'm just saying. I don't
Yeah.
know what else she's done in her past life.
But she
Maybe she's
was she
down
was having an
there. You don't
affair.
know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, but so at the end, that all stuff happens. Makes me wonder, do you think Satine, that's not right. Santiago, I think maybe does stay with the Moulin Rouge and he
I
does
think he would.
he keeps I think
I think as
someone
long as Nini's there, he's probably gonna
he's
be
probably
there.
there. And you know what? I saw something really interesting on Reddit. the other day and I screenshot it because I need to mention this I need to mention this about in the podcast. There you go, I can get the words out. But it was
Words are
something
hard,
like
guys.
words are very difficult, especially for me. And I bet you know I can't find it. But basically it was someone asking questions and they were after after everything happens, they're like, well, what happens to the club? They're like, because the Duke leaves probably.
Hmm.
Does Ziedler regain control of the Moulin Rouge? And
Yeah.
does the show keep going? And I think it probably does, and maybe Ziedler does regain control of the Moulin Rouge. I think, like I said, the Duke just doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. So Ziedler
Yeah.
is back with the reins. Money, I don't know how that is, but I think Santiago stays there and he stays doing his, choreography and probably Toulouse and then maybe do more shows. Just
Hmm.
don't have Christian anymore. Unless Christian does come back one day, but maybe at the beginning it's quite hard for him to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, it's painful.
Um,
It's hard to
so
remember.
because we actually don't know, like, does Christian go back to? Because like I said, in the movie he's English.
Hmm.
In the Broadway show he's from Ohio. Does he go back to Ohio? Does he stay in Paris? Um, Maybe he does come back. And I think Santiago does stay at the Moulin Rouge, and I think he supports Nini, whatever
Yeah.
Nini's doing. If Nini's still a Lady M, or like we said, if she goes up to being the Sparkling Diamond, I think he supports her,
Hmm.
and he stays in as the choreographer. Does he still do the gigolo stuff? Probably not, because
Not,
maybe he
yeah.
wants to
Maybe
be
he
with
finds something in Nini.
maybe he wants to be with Nini. And again, I don't think it's
I
like
don't
a
think it's gonna
simple
be,
relationship.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
think
not
it's
gonna be
probably
like
quite
Christian and
difficult.
Satine. Had
No,
Satine
I
not
think
died, they're
it's
not gonna.
they're both very fiery, I think.
Hmm.
But I think he wants to put, he wants to create, he's like Toulouse and Christian, they want to create a revolution. And this
Hmm.
was such a big time for revolutions in 1899,
Yeah.
um, because we were coming out of the Industrial Revolution era and coming into the 20th century. Well,
Hmm.
yeah,
It
20th
is, yeah,
century at this time.
it's 20th
So they
century.
want things were changing, and they wanted to create this revolution. And like I said before, I think the Moulin Rouge stays open. Maybe it's affected by the war. I don't know. A lot happens after
Yeah.
1899, from 1899 to like the 20s. So,
Hmm.
and again, I don't know how old Santiago is. Maybe at some point he's like, I'm kind of done with this, but you don't know if I don't think he gets like drafted in the war or something, but maybe, hopefully he doesn't get consumption. Oh my God, that would
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else gets consumption. I hope not.
Yeah, we would hope not, but
Would not be good. Um, but yeah, I think maybe, yeah, I think that's what I think. I think he stays. I don't know about you.
I think he stays too. As I said, like I think he'll support Nini no matter what. So whether she decides to leave, whether she decides to become Sparkling Diamond, whether she decides to just stay a Lady M, I think he's gonna be there supporting her. I think no matter what, if he leaves, if he doesn't leave, I think he would continue to dance because that's seemingly what he likes to do. That's his passion. I'm not sure if the show goes on, super long or anything, but artists are always creating. That's one thing, is like they could be doing something, but they're always creating another thing. So maybe he and Toulouse have been, trying to create something else. Maybe they'll bring Christian in if he doesn't, escape back to Ohio. Don't know why he would go back to Ohio, as somebody from Ohio is saying. Um, but
I wouldn't either. I'd stay in Paris.
I've never been to Lima, Ohio, so I wouldn't know. And clearly I'm not from the 1800s, so I would not know. But maybe he's off in London somewhere. Who knows? Maybe he's anywhere but Paris, but maybe he'll come back. If
Hmm.
it's kind of like a new show, as we kind of, I think we talked about it. I don't know if I think we talked about it last week. Like Satine's dying wish was for Christian to tell her
Hmm.
story or their story. So it's like if he leaves and he's not telling the story, it's like, you know,
Yeah, I just think maybe
it's
it's
her
probably
dying
too,
wish.
it's like probably quite painful for him at the beginning,
Yeah,
so he probably
yeah,
has to
yeah.
take some time.
As one
Um,
would do.
you know, but yeah, I mean, and Satine always said to him about how his music and The world needs to
Yeah.
hear his music. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the
Doesn't he
trio
say
keep
like doesn't he say he starts like getting back into
writing
writing?
again. Yeah, he
Yeah.
starts writing again. And then he writes Come What May Please.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe him, Santiago, and Toulouse get back together and the band is back together and they create more, they create more
Mhm.
performances, more shows for the Moulin Rouge to put on.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess you can only run one show, even though they want to run it for 50 years, but
Yeah, it's true.
maybe they're like, oh, time for a
Yeah,
mix
time
up.
for a new thing. No, but I think also like in Christian's like kind of final speech before Come With Me Reprise, it's he says like it's a place to belong and people to love, and then he says something about like, you know, it's this they brought like friends and family and also a love. So it's like not just Satine that kind of has, that's like on his mind or like it is that he's focusing on. It's like also he has a family, he has friends, he has connections now that he also kind of mentions in that final monologue. So it kind of shows that, yes, Satine was his the true love, and that is kind of the focus of the show, but then also it brought him a family within the Moulin Rouge with everybody else. So
Yeah. You know, I'm just looking at IMDb and just looking about the movie. And
yeah.
honestly, the movie makes me laugh sometimes because
It's so funny.
it's so unserious, the
It's
movie. It's
so
so
funny.
unserious. And how, like, there's literally a part where he goes unconscious and Zita is like, oh my God, like, I cannot work with this. Like, it's so
I
funny.
cannot work under these conditions.
Yeah, basically, but the way it's so unserious, and
I feel like
how,
the
like,
musical is a little bit more
a
serious.
little bit, but
Yeah.
because, like, Santiago, um, yeah, he's so funny
He's
in
so
because he's very like different to what he's like in the Broadway show.
yeah.
Um,
I'm like, if you guys know what narcolepsy is, it's basically when like a person can just fall asleep at any given moment. So
hmm.
if you if you can imagine that happening in the movie, that's basically what the movie Santiago
Again, if you haven't watched
is
the movie,
like.
I need you to
Go
watch
see
the
it.
movie,
Yeah, go see
guys.
it.
You gotta watch it. It's like
That is
available.
one
It's like
movie
on
that Lily
Hulu.
has seen.
I'm so glad that Lily has seen that one, but she's not seen like Mummy and stuff like that. So also in the we're talking about Roxanne. So in the movie, he starts off Roxanne with Nini, and I love how they kept to the script a lot with the Broadway show because in the movie he
Yeah.
goes, "We have a dance in the brothels of Buenos Aires. It tells the story of a prostitute and a man who falls in love with her. First there is desire, then passion, then suspicion, jealousy, anger, betrayal. When love is for the highest bidder, there can be no trust. Without trust, there can be no love. Jealousy, yes, jealousy will drive you mad. Never fall in love with a woman who sells herself. It always ends bad." So they kind of kept it. Obviously, Zidler says it, but like that Roxanne, the movie version of Roxanne's so good.
It's
The
so good.
Broadway version's amazing too, but the movie one is really good as well.
Hmm.
The dance in it is also really
Really good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so again, people, if you haven't watched the movie, watch it. So
At
good.
least
And
go on YouTube and watch like
I'll just
Roxanne.
watch the Roxanne bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's very I think Santiago is a good character. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He has Christian's best interest. During the bit before Chandelier when he's like, I can't stop thinking about her. And he tells her like enough, like leave her alone. He's doing it because he has his best interests.
Yeah.
He knows like, hey, the Duke has got his grip on Satine and just leave it
Hmm.
alone. Like she's made her choice. What is it? I always say one of my things is you can only lead a horse to water is one of my
Hmm.
favorite sayings because she's made her choice. There's nothing you can do. Well, I mean, there
I've
is
made my
obviously.
choice. Let me be damned for it.
Yeah, and like Santiago's kind of telling Christian, like, hey, she's made her choice. leave it
Leave it,
alone. Let
yeah.
her be. And obviously Christian's
If
like, I'm
she
gonna fight
regrets
for her.
her decision, she'll regret her decision, but let
Yeah,
her come to that herself.
yeah, exactly. And so I think Santiago is a good friend and he wants to look out for him.
Yeah.
Because like chandelier and everything like that. Um, but I do definitely think he's a good friend for Christian. Him
Yeah.
and Toulouse are good friends.
Yeah, I
And
think Toulouse is very like he's very the like I don't want to say the father figure, but he's like the big brother figure almost. Where
Toulouse isn't taking any shit either,
yeah,
so
yeah, he like
I also like that.
he's like on the more serious side of things and like, he's the one who, he'll like he'll put you in place and everything like that and he's very wise as well. He's very wise and has a way of with words and like speak he's very soulful whereas like Santi is really silly and fun, but he also can knock some sense into you in his own fun way.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I think he very good. Very good.
One of my
I
favorite moments, I think, with Santiago is when it's during Shut Up and Raise and it's like the Zietler's just like, you still haven't paid your last your last bills and stuff, which are astronomical. And then like he's kind of like Santiago's like pulling him around
Oh
like
my God, that bit
with the
when he's like,
bottle.
oh, when
So good.
Toulouse is like, oh, Zila seen Satine and Christian together, we are sunk. And like he has to tell Santiago, like, come on, come here, because Santiago's just drinking. He's like,
Yeah.
come here.
And then he has that moment with Nini, and then you have like Christian and Toulouse kind of like they're like
But
those
it's
bros. They're those bros.
but like that bit in the beginning when they're like, oh, you have some paid your tab, which I might add is
Yeah,
astronomic.
astronomical.
And he's like, oh, no talk of filthy money, tonight for love. And he's like, love. And it's so funny that
Pulls
and
them
they do a
around.
really good job at distracting Ziedler from love because obviously Ziedler's trying to set him up with the Duke and he's
Yeah,
gonna see them and be like, that's
that's
not the
not the
Duke. But
Duke.
it's so funny,
Which
like
we later find out, but
yeah. Um there's a bit that's happening right now. So during pitch song, just before pitch song, they do the when he walks in, he's like, ah, and it's like for our new show. And he goes, which we will premiere here at the Moulin Rouge. And Zidler goes, come again. And Ricky has started doing so he's like, come again. He's like, which we will premiere and he gets cut off. So he
yeah,
tries to say it twice, which I think is really funny.
it's so good.
But he's definitely, yeah, Santiago is definitely, I think he's a really good character and he's a good one. He's definitely a good true
And then
friend.
there's Hamish at the end of
Hamish.
it,
I want to
which
dress up as Hamish for
Ricky.
Halloween. That's what I want to do.
Yes.
But he's
Please
definitely a
do.
good friend and he's yeah, he's there to
I
help
just like
and
how Ricky goes.
ta-da!
It's so
Um,
good.
Gabe used to make him do the can-can. He used to do the little can-can
Yeah.
kicks with Hamish. But yeah, I think
And the dick scream. Ah! It's so
yeah.
funny.
Um yeah. Good Santiago is a good character. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a question. Do you think he knew Nini before, like, from like just kind of being because like I feel like because Zealer's like the tab is astronomic for them
yeah, they're
that they
patrons
might
to Moulin Rouge.
frequent at the
Yeah.
Rouge, do you think?
I do think so.
Yeah.
In the movie, they mention that like they go to the Rouge, and even in the Broadway show, it's hinted that they go there a lot just to watch the show.
Yeah.
Do I think he knew Nini before? I don't know. That's a good one because um
I don't think they knew each other.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
like maybe he saw her, just like
Maybe
I
he's
want
seen her from a
that one.
distance, and finally he's like, "Well,
Finally, when he
Christian's
gets the
gonna go talk to
chance, yeah, when he
Satine."
gets the chance,
Well, they go to
he
that
goes,
after. It's kind of like an after party, but they go
yeah,
to and shut up and raise. And maybe he's like, "Well, here's my chance. Let me go and try and woo her,"
yeah.
and fails miserably. And he's
Keep
like, "She
walking.
loves me." Yeah. So I don't think, but yeah, him and Toulouse were definitely patrons of the Moulin Rouge before.
Yeah.
They would go out and go there a lot.
Especially because
Um,
Toulouse had that because he was in love with Satine.
yeah.
So
So they would go there a lot, and Do you know what? There's a funny line. Oh no, it's not Santiago, but it's Toulouse. During in the movie, he spills a drink on the Duke, and he's trying to wipe him up with a handkerchief. Just try and like he's trying to distract Satina, I think, or something like that. And he goes, clean it up yourself, you bushwhack pig. And it's the funniest thing ever. And I don't know why, but it's a line that always stuck with me when he tells him
That
he's
movie is just
the movie. I tell
so
you, the movie
good.
is so unserious and it's so funny. Like
It's
the
so funny.
spectacular scene is
Oh
just
my God, it's
hilarious.
so funny.
It's so unserious and it really makes me it's definitely a good comedy. Like I said, the Broadway show is definitely a bit more serious. Funny, but definitely a bit more
Yeah.
serious and sometimes. But yeah, I
Because
think
yeah, I feel like you could just do so much more with the movie. You can only do so much on the stage. With
yeah.
the movie, there's like, different camera angles, different ways in
hmm
which you can move the camera to make it a little bit more disoriented and a little bit more unhinged.
I'm like, yeah, I think going back to what you said, Santiago and Toulouse are patrons. Santiago's a bit of a he likes to drink. I think he's definitely a bit of like I said, racking up a tab.
That's
So
astronomic.
it's astronomic. So those two are definitely doing just having fun and probably they were getting ideas for what to write and they're wanting to write. We know they're running to write a show from Moulin Rouge because they say that in the pitch song. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, our new show," and everyone's like, "What?" Like, yeah, a
Mhm.
new show.
And they had
Um,
the idea from the beginning because Toulouse and Christian say like, they wanted me to pitch a song to the star there for their new show. So they already had it kind of in
named Bohemian Rhapsody.
mind.
Um, so yeah,
Do you
that's
think
all I
he
got.
do you think he's like, not that anybody's on the Duke's good side over there, but do you think he's more on the Duke's good side than maybe like Toulouse and obviously Christian?
There's no really interaction with the Duke and Santiago. However, I think out of the three of them, the Duke probably likes him more because A,
He likes the
Christian,
dancing. Yeah.
well, yeah, but Christian, is with Satine.
Yeah.
Toulouse is defying the Duke and pissing him off.
Yeah.
And
Ziegler
Santiago's kind
is
of
just,
keeping his
yeah.
mouth shut and he's like, oh, I like the dancing. So I think out of all three of them, he
He
probably does like
probably does, yeah.
Santiago, but we don't really ever see, there's no really interaction except for that one scene in rehearsal scene one, and that's it,
He's like,
really.
I like the
So
dancing.
yeah,
Lots of
lots of
jumping and
jumping, kicking.
kicking.
Yeah, we'll have more of that. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really. Out of all three of them, though, I think he probably does like Santiago
Yeah.
more than the rest of them at
I
the
mean,
moment.
obviously, I think the Duke is just done with Moulin
Maybe,
Rouge,
like they said
but
before, maybe Christian's in trouble. Maybe Toulouse might be in trouble afterwards, after everything. So I think
I don't know
Santiago's
what he thinks
safe.
of Ziegler at this point because I don't know if Ziegler would want him back, but I don't know.
Well, I
Well, I
mean,
mean, if they're really in need for the money, which they might. Hmm.
depends how much the show's raking in. So
Hmm.
yeah,
I think
that's
that's
my
all I
take.
have.
That's my take on it.
Hmm.
It's difficult. It gets more difficult as we start deep diving into other characters who aren't like the main characters because there's not as much information. So a lot of it you just have to kind of think about it and just feel like maybe
Hmm.
it's a multiverse of Moulin Rouge. Move over Marvel.
We're writing a
Um,
Moulin Rouge cinematic universe.
yeah, our
We've
Moulin
already
Rouge
got the
fourth
sequel, we've got the prequel
sequel,
now
the
from last.
prequel, the sequel to the sequel, the sequel to the sweet sequel to the sequel, the prequel to the prequel, a mini series, an animated series.
It's gonna be on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus is gonna pick it up. Hulu is gonna pick it up. Oh my goodness. Oh, but yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I have. Jules and I are gonna be back next month in the city.
Dun, 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 dun. Even though she's not coming to see. I also can everyone comment to tell Lily that she needs to come to the 5-year anniversary. Thank you.
I can't get off
I think you
work. If
can.
I could
Just
teleport myself to the Al Hirschfeld
you
Theater
should
after work and then like go back for a day and then yeah, I
I
would do
hate that you come in on Saturday and I'm leaving Sunday. because I'm there for a week. I'm there for 10 days. I fly on the 19th and leave on like the
I wish I had that
20.
time.
Oh, I know. I leave on like the 28th, I think. So I'm there for like 10
I wish
days.
I had that vacation time.
I I build up my vacation too much. I need to
I need
start
to, yeah.
taking more. I have a lot, so I was like, well, here we go. But yeah, that's all I got for you this week. So we'll be back next week with another episode of Can Can Talks.
Yeah. And Aaron Tveit is returning to the Al Hirschfeld Theater,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Well,
exciting.
it's been real. It's been fun. It's
It's
been
been
fun.
real fun.
Deuces!
Bye, guys.